Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are watching this video. This is Zuzana Mukumayi Filipová from Intercultural Relationships, Celebrate Your Differences. And I am so excited to have Andrea here with me in the next series of stories of real women in intercultural relationship. Hi, Andrea, and welcome.
Hi, Zuzana. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited to share my story with you all.
And we are also very excited to hear more about you and your story. And before I go to the question, can you tell us a bit more about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So as you can see, my name is Andrea. I'm originally from the south of Brazil. And I'm married. My husband is Italian. So we met in Brazil a long time ago in '97, and we decided to move to Italy. So yeah, I have two kids. They are teenagers now, 18 and 15. And so I lived in Italy for 12 years, and we've been in US, Michigan for 10 years now. So we always speak 3 languages at home, and it's a little bit confused, but we can understand each other. And professionally, my background is in the human resource, in HR. I used to work in HR in Italy, and after I moved to US, I became a certified coach. I work with leaders and organizations, supporting them in their leadership development, career development, and also as a cross-cultural coach and trainer as well.
It's super exciting, and I am one of the reasons why I'm doing these interviews is to show the examples of intercultural couple who work, because always in news we hear all the negative stories how intercultural couples it never works out, and we just hear the bad ones. So that's why I'm so excited that you are here and you have been with your husband. You have been married, I think, 22 years.
22
So
years.
we are looking forward to hear some of your tips on how to make it work, especially if you live in at least 3 different states, if I catch it well, and you speak 3 different languages, and you have been through a lot, including bringing up the children. So,
yeah.
But maybe the first question, which I am excited to learn about, and also our listeners, I'm sure, is like, how did you meet? How this story happened?
Yeah, good question to start. So as I was saying, I was born and raised in the south of Brazil. Curitiba is my city. It's a big city, but it's a city that we are very close to friends and families. Like it's very traditional mindset, let's just say. So we met each other through a friend of mine. At that time, she was working in a hotel, and she met these new Italians. So she was very excited, and she invited me to go for dinner with them. And very traditional story. I just had a boyfriend before, very short story, but it was that moment that it was just like, oh, I'm not sure if I want to hang out with people. And, I was kind of like in a quiet moment, and she was, let's go. So this is how it happened. So we started to hang out with this group of Italians. It was a lot of fun, and we went for dinner, dancing a few times, and of course the things started evolving. And this was in December, a little bit before Christmas. And after Christmas, for the New Year's Eve, I went to a beach place with my parents. And so I thought about, okay, they had some fun, we met, and then I was out for a week. So I said, okay, that will be done. It's over, right? So then But at the end, he was calling me every day, like very, and we start to, be more connected. And when I came back from that trip in January, beginning of January, his parents were in town visit him, and he invited me to go for a dinner with his parents. And anyway, long story short, things continued to evolve in, and he was planning to, with the work, move back to Italy. And we started to think about, okay, let's get married. And we stayed together for 3 years, the times that he was in Brazil. And we got married in March 2000. So, as you said, it's been 22 years of marriage with so many ups and downs, but here we are, very happy together, raising our 3 intercultural kids and having a lot of fun. So this is how it started.
It makes me light up just to hear this story, and I felt I was there a bit with you in south of Brazil. I wanted to count how many years ago was 1997, but yeah. And it's what made me also smile is that you said that his parents came to visit, and after maybe you were dating quite short time, and he introduced you to his parents. So I wanted to ask, how is that in Brazil? Because I had an Italian ex-partner as well, and I was shocked that he took me to his house for a Christmas to meet all his family after, I think, 2 or 3 months we were dating.
Yeah. At that time, when he invited me to go for a dinner with his parents, it was like, she's my friend, it was not officially the girlfriend situation, but of course it was intended, right? Because there was something going on. But there is also a funny story. So on my side of my family, my family is also very traditional. My dad, probably because of his German descendants, origins, like he was very straight with us, like very traditional. So when I said that I was dating this Italian guy, he was like, who is this guy? Very. And it was around April, May, my husband, that was my boyfriend at that time, wanted to travel with me to Rio de Janeiro. And I said, forget about it. No, my dad will never allow me to travel with you, just me and you. Like, this is not something that fine with my parents, my dad especially. So he said, oh, is that true? So I can ask him. I can go to your house and ask him. So he went to my house after dinner one day, and after a few conversations, like really living room chatting, parents, boyfriend, like this very uncomfortable situation, he asked my dad. So I'm planning to travel. I want to go to Rio de Janeiro with Andrea. I want to ask you all your permission, etc. And after a couple of hours, let's say around 2 hours, my dad replied to him, I will think about it and let you know. After a few weeks, a week or two, he asked me again, so your dad said something, I want to book this trip. So I said, forget about it, my dad will never allow me. And he said, so I can ask him again. I will ask for his answer, he said. So he came back over and now chatting, dinner, and parenting. And he asked my dad again, so Mr. Did you thought about my request? May I travel with Andrea, etc.? And he convinced my dad. So it was very a funny story that we also tell our kids about it, that he was very persistent in. So it's very interesting. So that even for my family, they knew him and his values, and that he was respecting me. But this was a little bit of the cultural shock, even in the beginning, like for in some cultures it's more normal, or of course depending of the family as well, but traveling have more open, and some cultures or even families are more traditional. So this was one of the first kind of like situations that we saw these cultural differences as well.
And since you already start talking of the culture differences, my next question was actually, what were the biggest culture differences you encountered? Because before that you said you have been married 22 years with lots of ups and downs.
Yeah.
So which of the culture differences were the biggest or the most challenging?
Yeah, for sure was after I got married. So after I got married, I was 24 at that time, but was not so young, but still a little bit young, I would say. So my first culture shock was, of course, when I not just arrived in Italy, but starting having my life, my Italian life, let's say, facing the daily basis, the daily things. So in Brazil and so many of the Latinos countries, South America, and some other places, like it's very common that you have, for example, a helper, someone that helps in the house for cooking, for cleaning. So this was the way I grew up. Like, so it was even for the first time having my own house, no? As a married person, but also facing out this, okay, now what should I do, right? And how can I learn with all of this? And I was in Milan, so in the north of Europe, Italy. And Milan, even though it's very international city, is let's call it a very busy city. So most of people, when think about Italy, think about vacation. The Italians are very friendly, but Milan, it's economic base in Italy. So it's like a little New York, a small New York. So people were very busy. They do everything fast, in a hurry. So one of the first cultural shocks for me was very simple things, going to buy the bread in the what they call the panetteria, right? The bread store, or doing a few things, the groceries, when in the Latinos countries, in Brazil, we are more relationship based. Like, so we can ask, oh, do you have some suggestions? What do you want? What is the, I don't know, have a friendly conversation with the other person in the other side of who will be attending. And then in Italy, they are very direct, even if people who know in the cross-culture, they will be more direct in their approach in when they will talk, when they will ask something, like really need to say, like, what do you want? And be very straightforward. So this was kind of like very frustrating for me in the beginning, because I was by myself and I didn't know. So I started to, and with so many other situations, finding a job, I need to find our house, looking for a house, looking for a job. I kind of like with the, like fast forward with time, I'm kind of like, start to create this survival mode for me, and kind of like in some way became one of them. I became this kind of person that was not in my essence, in order to survive in that culture, which is I need to be, even the way I was talking with my kids was very like, go to bed, do this, and da-da-da, like very straightforward, very direct. at work, the same thing. And I remember what time that even my parents in a comment, I don't know if they remember this, but they said, you look so different, like we don't recognize you, like the way I was talking with others, the way I was acting, what was always very, I don't want to say aggressive, but very direct, straight. And then I realized that it was creating to me like this survival mode, being like in order to defend myself, to protect myself in that culture, I was incorporate this kind of behaviors. So I was like really, really, really enjoying my Italian life. It was very, I had my circle of friends, I have my job, you know, I had my kids. My kids were little at the time, but I created my life in the way that was working for me at that time. And after in 2012, a little bit before that, around 2010, 2011, so there is a very hard time in the Italian economy. So my husband started to travel a lot. I was working full-time, working a lot. So it was very hard for us as a couple, especially for me, for both of us. But I was kind of like raising my kids by myself because my husband was traveling every week. So it was a very challenging moment for us. And at that time, I thought that we are going to split, right? That something needs to change. I was really praying God like that something needs to change, like that we could not continue in this situation. And in that time, he had the opportunity to move to the US for work. And in the beginning for me was, no, I'm not changing my life again for you. I'm staying here. This is my life. I won't change anything again. But after some conversations, so we said, okay, let's go and see how it goes. And it was at that time after we moved to US that I kind of like understand all this process of my cultural challenges. I need to, that's why I brought this, and move forward here to continue answering your question. It was just when I moved to US that I realized that I didn't know where I belong anymore. I was not more that Brazilian girl anymore because being out of Brazil for so many years, I realized that I was not the Italian person that I was because I was not in Italy anymore. And I was not feeling any sense of belonging just because I just moved here to US. So it was kind of like a very, very challenging, a very hard moment for me. And I understood that I was, in these years, I put away my essence, my authentic essence, who I am, in order to survive in that culture. So the process that I did, even with the coaching for myself, was to rediscover myself in that process. So the cultural challenges, exist. It's not easy in the relationship. And the most important thing that I would recommend and to each one of us who were watching, and even for myself included, that we will never forget who we are, our own essence, because it's so easy in order to fit in a culture that we kind of like forget who we are.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. It was very touching. At one point, I even felt like I'm gonna cry, because I think many people can really relate. And it's
Yeah,
for us sometimes, when we have been living many years in a different country or different continent, in both of our cases actually,
yeah,
it feels that it's something simple, but if we look at it, it's something very complicated, and it's hard. It's not easy thing to just move to another country, another continent, and then build life basically from zero, just maybe with your partner.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And of course, especially in the beginning when I had my kids, no, when my kids were little, raising our kids. Now I know that you have a little one as well. It's not easy to raise a kid by yourself in another culture. That we know, like I still have my parents, thankfully, and they are very active, very present in my kids' lives, in my life, even though with the distance. But in the beginning, especially when they are little ones, we want our parents to participate in the kids' life, seeing they are growing up. So this is another challenge as well in managing our life without a close family, nearby, having to do everything by ourselves in another culture. But again, it is possible. I have these two beautiful teenagers now. They are amazing kids. So it's all possible, but doesn't mean that it's easy.
Yeah. And maybe since you already mentioned this, that it was not easy to bring up the kids in two different cultures, what would be your tips for parents who have maybe small babies, or they are planning to have, and they're from different culture? What helped you and your husband to bring up your kids in Italian culture, in Brazilian culture, then moving to third country for both of us?
Yeah,
Both of
yeah.
you.
So the first thing is the language. We do speak the Italian and Portuguese at home. So knowing the language is a way. I believe no language is super important to create connection with the culture, even to communicate with your family, in the country that you are from, parents, siblings, and friends. It gives as more this sense of belonging. So I know that is not easy. I can see so many people, even here in US, that after a while, when the kids start to go into school, they start to speak English with the kid because this kid needs to learn English, so I'm not talking in Portuguese or any other language with the kid anymore. So I really recommend. It's extremely important, not just for you, for your family, but even for the kids' future. We never know what will happen, even though your language is not the most used language professionally, like for us Portuguese, but there is always an opportunity to know more language. They will learn new languages easier. Like my kids they learn Spanish at school, so for them it's much easier to learn Spanish because they are fluent in Italian and Portuguese, for example. So the first thing I would say, keep with your language at home. Keep with your costumes, like your traditions, the way you used to do things. Even to bring, I don't know, a family recipe, the way you decorate Christmas tree, or how you celebrate Mother's Day. Anything that, because it's something that is coming, anything that brings you a sense of home. It's beautiful, the kids to learn. This is the way that we used to do in our family, and I want to keep doing this the same. Even though they are like my kids, like grow up kids, like sometimes like this Easter, for example, I bought to them like the chocolate Easter egg. They are not kids anymore. They say, "Oh, mom, thank you, I love you." Like it was not necessary. Like he's 18 and my daughter 15. but it's a way, especially for me, it's more for me than for them, to keep this alive, that to have a few elements of your tradition, the way you used to do things, present in their life, because this is a way that they will also keep this when they will move, when they will have their own lives as well. Yeah, there are so many things that I can share a lot, but I don't want to.
Yeah. I love the way we can mix actually cultures, and it's not necessary that we forget about our culture just because we don't live in our country, but we can still bring it. We can adjust it. Like, of course, for example, in Zambia, the Christmas or Easter are not same as in Czech Republic, even for simple things like that. The eggs here, they are brown, and it's almost impossible to color them as we do in Czech Republic because they are not white. But I still like try to make some pieces of tradition. I skip some which I didn't like, and I think this is so exciting about having three or two different cultures in the family. So I think that's actually make it really nice.
Yeah, and it's also part of their own. I think it's very rich for the kids to have this knowledge of different cultures in such a young age. And this is a gift that we are giving to them, that again, that they will have for the rest of their lives. The first time that I noticed how another culture live, it was after I got married. Now it was with 24 years old. And there is nothing wrong with that. There's so many people that they born and raised and continue their lives in the same place. But I believe to have this global visual understanding, and even to be more inclusive in this society, bring more empathy, not just for people from other cultures, other countries, but other cultures in general, respecting other people's religions, respect other people's ethnicities. So it's always start with us. If we raise our kids with this more open-minded, this is what the citizen that they will be in the future.
Yeah, I completely agree. And this is actually what I also love, because I think most of the hate or racism, it stems from the fact that people don't know, maybe they don't know somebody from the other religion. They don't have a neighbor who is from other country. So this is like what I love, that I think our kids will be used to different culture, different religion, different food, different customs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the time is flying, so maybe we will have to do another episode next time. But I have to ask this one question because it's come like this imagination or these stereotypes of Brazilians and Italians being quite hot-headed people with lots of emotions. And I know you mentioned that you come from your father had a German origin, so maybe it's different, but I felt I have to ask it, like, how two cultures which are perceived as very emotional and hot-headed, like how does it work in the relationship?
Interesting. That's such an interesting question. In some way, let's say, in the pros and cons of all of everything in life, we enjoy life. No, the Italians and Brazilian culture are cultures who enjoy life. We enjoy being with friends. We enjoy music. We enjoy doing things with others. So there is a lot of our life is, even now, like it's about friends, people, meeting, and so being very social. So this is one thing that we do have in common. Not about Italian culture as a culture, but regarding me and my husband, I think with most of us who travel, we live abroad, we love to travel. So this is for us, life is always a new experience. Like I've been in US for 10 years, and I'm thinking, what would be next. Like, I don't know if it would be a next, but it's always, so this is how we feel so close, like enjoying food, like bringing people together on the table and enjoying a good meal with a group of friends. So this is very common things in Italian and Brazilian cultures, like really the sense of family, very a collective cultures, like a lot of family, friends, clothes, and meals together. So, but yeah, we are very expressive. I know that. And you can see that how I use a lot of my hands also just think. So yeah, so this is part of me anymore.
Yeah, this is one of the things I miss about Italy. I miss the family of my ex-partner because the way we were having lunches together. He had a small family, but still we would have lunch at his grandfather every time, the same pasta, which was delicious. And this is one of the beautiful things. And sometimes I wonder, like, I love food. And then I ended up in Zambia, where eating is more as eating not to be hungry. So people don't have this culture of sitting and enjoying nice food. They eat more for like being full. Even though I love Zambian food, but I still miss the Italian food and the culture surrounding the. Now I mix everything, but I meant the culture surrounding food.
I know. Yes. But yeah, each place is very unique. I'm sure that you have a lot of experience. I am so fascinated for your experience as well. And
so maybe one day you are most welcome to come and visit, because there are not so many people. Especially now after COVID, we are lacking visitors. So you are most welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
And before I give you the last word, I just wanted to, if you have a quick tip for maybe women who are watching and they are so inspired by your relationship. And I'm so grateful that you mentioned that at some point you did not know if it will last or if you will break up. Like, thank you for being so vulnerable and open, because I think most of the relationship will experience big moments like this. So what is your one tip for women, like how to make it work? Like, what is the one most important thing?
Yeah. Thank you for asking this. I think it's a very important question. What happened, what I learned, so even to share regarding the year that we had that challenge moment, we did a couple therapy. And at that time, my mindset was a lot about, I'm here because of you. I'm here because of you, because of you. And I remember that therapist saying to me, Andrea, it's enough. You decide. This was also your decision. So one thing is really this mindset that most of us women have to, even though it's a spark life that move for husband's work, whatever it is owning your responsibility, owning that you are, this is a family decision or the couple's decision. So it's not about blaming or pointing the finger on someone else. So one thing that really changed for me is owning my responsibility in the relationship. The other thing that is very, very important that we are learning and growing with this, I believe in a couple, both of us need to feel whole, complete. What happened in some couples, they try to find in the other person what they think is missing in yourself. So in kind of like complementing each other. So it's kind of like this idea of the other piece of the orange or the apple or whatever it says, so that will find a piece and will become complete. And I believe that this is totally the opposite. We need, as individuals, to feel whole to feel complete, to know ourselves. And then we can walk together. If we are always trying to find that piece that is missing, we will continue looking for that piece and we'll never find it, because this piece is not in others, but in yourself.
Yeah, that was beautiful, both of your pieces of advice. Like I'm really thankful for that, because I completely agree, especially the ownership of the responsibility that you decided. And I have couple of clients who have a partner from abroad. They live in Czech Republic, so it's the men who came to Czech Republic. And I know it's not easy to live in Czech Republic. You need to learn the language, but then often we encounter the men not taking the responsibility, saying like, I'm here because of you, now I struggle with the language, I cannot find proper job. So that's exactly as you said, we have to own the decision. Even me in Zambia, sometimes I'm like, why did I move here? There is nothing to do. Like, what if I was in Czech Republic? But then I was like, no, it's me who wanted to live here.
Exactly.
And it's unfair to blame the partner for that.
Exactly. That's it.
Yeah. And looking for the missing piece in somebody else or in something else, I completely agree. Like, first we have to work on ourselves to make our relationship work. So I think that was a beautiful closure of this interview. And before we say goodbye completely, you mentioned you are a certified coach, and that you are also focusing on cross-cultural coaching, if I say it correctly. So if somebody's watching, they love you, how they can find you, or where you can invite our viewers.
Yes, thank you. So my coaching business is called Destination You Coaching. So I provide career coaching, leadership development coaching, and of course it's also about the individual. So a lot of personal development as well. So my website, my business is destinationyoucoaching.com. They can find me on LinkedIn and all social media, Facebook and Instagram. And in 2017, this is how we met, Zuzana and I. In 2017, I created a Facebook group. It's called Women Abroad. We are now 1,900 women around the world. So you are welcome to join as well. The purpose of the group is to support, connect, and inspire women around the world. So everyone is welcome to share about yourself, your business, and anything that will helpful for other women, because we all know how it's like to feel alone, and we all need some connections. So at that time, I thought about how about a group to bring so many women that are feeling or being on the same page. So Women Abroad group on Facebook.
I will put the links also under the videos, and if you are interested to ask anything, just write in the comments. You will find the link. And I hope you enjoyed the discussion. I loved it, and thank you so much, Andrea, for coming. I feel, as you said, you started this group which has almost 2,000 women. So I kind of feel like I am interviewing a celebrity. So I was very excited about it. And thank you so much.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure. Thank you, and keep doing what you are doing. Like, it's such important for all women and couples. So great work with everything that you are doing. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And everybody who is watching, have a great rest of the day. Have a good night from whatever time you are watching, and feel free to ask anything which interests you in the comments.
Thank you again. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.